Speaking of second half, that means we're back, so that means the trade deadline's over.
That's right.
You ready to talk about some trades with someone who has a very good reason why we're talking about trades?
I'm ready for this.
All right.
I'm excited for this.
All right, hang on. All right, well, yeah, we got a guest waiting in the backstage area, so let's get to him because I'm sure he's got some opinions.
Yes.
View from the other bench.
Well, talk about timing with the trade deadline coming to an end on Monday. We thought what better guest to have tonight to talk about all the deals that we made / he made, the general manager of your Moncton Wildcats, Taylor MacDougall. First of all, Taylor, Happy New Year to you and your family. And thanks for taking the time on what I'm guessing was a very busy day for you to join us.
No, thank you very much for your time, guys. Appreciate you having me, and Happy New Year to you two as well, and congrats on your exciting news as well.
No, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Like we joked before we started this, we're gonna have a car seat here and a car seat over there, and burping the baby as we do this show, and just we're not stopping for all the fans. So I guess I'll just start with a bombshell for most of the fans and us on the 4th there from Stefan Leroux. The Dylan Gill was going to be sent back to the queue and was going to be traded to the Moncton Wildcats. I know that trades don't generally happen during the trade period. I know that irons are in the fire, files are open, and whatever you want to talk about it. Is that something that was in the works for a while? Or is that something that you kind of got just shortly before that news broke?
Yeah, I would say shortly, but at the same time, I think to your point, I think you have to look at all possible variables and options, like going into a trade period, particularly one that was as um, important as this one to our organization. So you kind of cast a wide net of options, and then you start going down the road on each one, and you can kind of evaluate them as you do more and more diligence on them and see if it's a fit. So I would say it was included in that process, but we never went too far down the road on it until we had reason to, and we hadn't had reason to for very long, I guess is how I'd best describe that. It came together pretty quickly.
Yeah, and kicking off the trade period, with the acquisition of Maxim Cote, we've already seen, how valuable he is to the organization and the roster. I guess, what do you like about him to ensure that he was a Wildcat before, the other team snatched him up?
Yeah, no, we're to your point, we're extremely high on Max, and for a number of reasons, like on ice, off ice, things he does with the puck, things he does without the puck. He's a guy that as an organization we've had interest in for a long time and have been on for a long time, and guys that have the intangibles that he has, you have to be on for a long time because they're extremely coveted, right? If you can have one in an organization. So I just think the more you just need as many guys like him as you can have come March and hopefully April and hopefully May, right? Like those are guys that help you win hockey games. And from what you guys see on the ice, he's equally impressive behind the scenes and in the dressing room in terms of having character and bringing energy to the group. And he's won championships in minor hockey, and he's been part of playoff runs in Sherbrooke, and last year played when a impact player went down for Sherbrooke. Max went up a line and contributed vastly to them winning a round last year. So for all those factors, we were really excited to get Max.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Yeah, I thought we had this all sorted out, but
I mean, I can go if you want.
But I was too long-winded. I messed you guys up there.
That's all. Distracted. Obviously with the Loshing trade, I think many people, including myself, we were expecting maybe the acquisition of a top 6 forward to maybe take his spot in the lineup. I guess, who do you see kind of stepping into that role?
Probably by committee. Like I wouldn't single one person out in particular. Like we are fortunate where we've had some depth, touch wood, through the first half, and our production has been pretty good. That as in junior hockey, the taps can shut off as quickly as they can turn on. But at the same time, I think some of the offensive principles we're using regularly now as a team kind of lend themselves to more consistent offensive output, we hope. And And we kind of got a glimpse when Pex and Sumphy went away to World Juniors that we had different guys step up each night and play really well and show that they're capable of it. And at the same time, when you make that move, Loesch is an extremely valuable player, brings a lot to our hockey team. But the trade-off of adding an impact defenseman, and then also probably some of the offense that that defenseman will hopefully contribute. Like I don't think it'll be a wash, but if we can get the production we expect from the defense moving forward, if we can continue to improve as a group on our offensive principles and give some of our depth an opportunity. And then we've got two guys I'm sure we'll get to. We spoke about Max. We added Logan today. Those are both guys that we feel very comfortable being able to take not only a regular shift, but make big plays for us down the stretch.
Yeah, it's I think that's a lot of what the fans are going to see when they see a player of Loesching's caliber that's been here that can score goals go out. They're looking for that style of player to come back in, and you see guys like all the guys going to Rimouski, LaRose going, Burrell going. I don't want to ask if there's panic when you get into these trade deadlines on the actual day, but does it feel like you just want to stay with the course with Rick and with Alex Gauthier on what you guys see as a vision, and not try to get into an arms race, or I know this isn't the right word, but a panic move? Like, you just want to stay true to what you're doing, regardless of what the other teams in the queue are doing when they load up for the second half? Is there kind of how do you stay calm on a day like this when other teams are adding these top end talents and you know what your vision is and what you want to do?
Yeah. And I think firstly, you always take everything into consideration,
Right.
to suggest that we have this plan that doesn't need to take anything else into consideration, and that doesn't need to be flexible, or that we don't need to reanalyze and kind of re-stress test it. Like that's not true. I think you always do that.
Right.
But at the same time, I think we have an ideology for what we think a roster can be that wins, and certain principles within that roster. And also we think our group is taking big steps. We think there's been a lot of improvement in the group from September to December, and we plan on that happening again from January forward. Hopefully, we do have to trust as much as we want our process to be flexible, we also have to trust it a little bit too, right?
Right.
Like we have to trust that there's going to be improvements made throughout the group, because we've seen that take place through the first half. So again, you take those into consideration, you balance out, that you do the cost analysis of it too, because there is as exciting as this year is, and as committed as we are to it, there's an overarching principle of protecting an organization too through these days where it can get, like you said, it's very easy to get excited and potentially get a little bit reckless and things like that. So that's why I think you need a plan to go back to, and then you kind of stress test that plan and weigh it off against what other teams are doing, and just try and make as an informed and as an educated decision as you can when those things happen.
We waited long enough to ask you about the deal that everyone is waiting for us to talk about, and I think you know which one's coming. But obviously, the deal with Halifax acquiring Matias Rousseau, Logan Crosby for Steinman, and some picks. When you're looking at that kind of deal for playoff experience with Matias and getting into the Memorial Cup and the experience he can bring, are you also looking at what other teams are maybe doing in the OHL and the WHL when you weigh that? And was that a big factor in this? Is Matias's playoff experience?
The experience was definitely a major factor, for sure. I think we're looking at this week and trying to be successful, right? But you're correct in that it's one thing to be successful in January with the group we have. The goal is to have success in April and May, right? And so having success in January is one thing. And it's awesome. It's better than not having success. But it's, at the same time, you can't lose sight of what the ultimate goal is, and our ultimate goal is to win the last game of the season. And so that's kind of the standard you have to apply when you're making decisions like we did today.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want me to correct you here. You keep saying April and May, but I will remind you that the Memorial Cup final is June 1st. Anyway.
Oh, thank you. That's good. Okay, I'm a big superstition guy, so well, we can roll the tape back and I can correct my answer. But
I'd rather be playing in that game and not just ending in May here. So no,
thank you.
I guess looking at the assets that weren't traded, we still have the 2026 first and 2027 first. How important was it for you to hang on to those picks?
It was important. Like at the same time, if we felt like spending a 26 first was potentially the difference in giving our team an opportunity to win in June, as you just said, that wasn't going to stop us. Like we're certainly, we trust the group and we want to give them as big of an opportunity as we can to win this year. But at the same time, those are really important picks in terms of how you build an organization, and we want to have success this year, but we also want to have longevity to success too, and that's how you look at it. You get your talented players at that part of the draft, 90% of the time. So it's not to be, we view trading picks like that as like a heavy price. So not that we weren't willing to spend it by any means, but it also, you're not just gonna spend them recklessly. So the fact that they are still there is something that we feel good about, as focused as we are on this year.
Yeah. And I guess not trade related, but just one last one for me. Obviously being a former player in this league, you've made your fair share of trips up to Bathurst, but you're also a former St. John's Fog Devil. So I guess just tell us about your thoughts about the Teton move to Newfoundland.
It's mixed feelings, I guess, because obviously New Brunswick native know how important the Teton are to that region of the province, and so firstly sad to see that happen, and for that market for like a really passionate market with rich history lose a team, and our province lose a team. But on the other side, I've experienced firsthand how hospitable St. John's is as a market, and just kind of how professional the people are there, and how passionate they are about hockey. And I had an unbelievable experience when I was there for 2 years. Like it's a market that deserves tier 1 hockey, whatever it may be. So on that, sad as I am for the market in Bathurst, I'm equally excited and happy for the people in St. John's, because they deserve a high quality of hockey and in what's a beautiful facility.
And I guess I'll just finish this up. I don't think your job stops after the trade deadline. You're always listening to free agents. I guess just with the waiver wire, the free agent deadline, is there a deadline on free agents? And do you have any irons in the fire you just want to tell Jeremy and I? Don't worry about anybody else. Is anything you want to tell Jeremy and I?
Yeah.
But when does that kind of stop for you in terms of free agents and stuff like that for this season?
No, I think your eyes and ears at all times, right? Like if there's an opportunity to improve your organization, you look at it. Leaving the trade period today, we're comfortable with our group. If that doesn't happen, at the same time, we'll look at it. The waiver wire call is tomorrow.
Okay.
So that list will kind of get circulated this evening, and we'll have a look at it. There's a free agent deadline on January 10th, and then there's kind of a more specific one on February the 10th as well. So there's a little bit of flexibility there, but at the same time, we're excited about our group that we have in the room, and if nothing's added, we're comfortable with that. But eyes and ears. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, the group that you've put together, I mean, depending how many armchair GMs you look at on social media, some of them are happy, some of them are not, but you're not going to please everyone. I think the two of us are pretty pleased with that. And if you need any help on the free agents, you know our number and our email, you send it to us. We'll let you know.
No, I appreciate that. We'll actually do that. We'll do that trade sit down beforehand. Maybe I could have used you guys beforehand, but yeah, it was
I don't think our
a
team would have looked anything like yours.
No, no, no. I'm always on the EP website looking for a German player with a mom from Quebec or something like that, or a Swiss forward with a mom from New Brunswick, something like that.
I did. Admittedly, I didn't get the full clip in on the suggestions, but I was wondering if Dylan Gill made it or not. But
No, he
no, it
didn't.
was
No.
yeah,
This is one of those weird years where we didn't even think of looking at free agents. I think last year with the rumor of the free agent to Halifax from the AHL, Robidas. There was all that talk about Robidas.
Yeah.
We just kind of like that didn't happen last year, and then with the new NCAA, I don't think anybody thought of Dylan Gill. I think that was a shock to pretty much everybody. If I'm not accurate, but we'll let you get to back to the kids, and thanks for taking the time. I mean, we had you after your first draft, had you after your first trade period, so we'll be excited to talk to you after your first championship.
Well, no, I appreciate it, guys, and I appreciate all the support and coverage. And I'd say that it was a really exciting day, or kind of couple of days for the organization. But no, it was a difficult day today too, obviously, right? And so the players that are moving on to new opportunities, like we would thank them for their contributions, and not something that we took, not a decision we made lightly or fastly, and those are really good people moving on to other organizations, and so I think that's important to recognize.
Yeah, we can play GMs on a podcast and talk about it, but you have to have those difficult conversations, and so I commend you on having to have those difficult decisions and having those conversations. But again, Taylor, thanks for taking the time on a busy day.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.